French virus? Today we're going to be checking out more Dr. Eggman lore, but this time delving into the Archie comics. Now, I've heard a lot of you guys make suggestions in regards to checking out videos by Lowart, but that one is like a 9-hour retrospective, which, hey, I'm not a stranger to doing very long videos, like check out our Battletech series for example, or honestly the Marvel lore reactions as well. But before we dive headfirst into that, I kind of wanted to get an idea of what this series might be like and how different it is from the main game lore. So I decided to check this video out first. Now, the previous video that we did was like a part 1 to the Project Shadow lore. However, we did receive a lot of comments in regards to the part 2 of that video, where there were a lot of inconsistencies. And I did go and check in the comment section of that video as well, and there was just a lot of people pointing out different misinformation or speculation that didn't really have any basis behind it. So I'm not sure if checking out that part 2 is going to be worth it. I don't know. For those of you who have seen it, let me know your thoughts. Or if there's like an updated video with more correct information in regards to Project Shadow, please do recommend it to me. It just feels kind of bad that we left that hanging halfway, basically. But anyways, Archie Eggman. Oh, but of course, before we get into the reaction, please make sure to go support the OG video. Link to that is at the very top of the description, like always.
This is the face of true evil. The version of Dr. Eggman from the Archie Sonic the Hedgehog comics may be one of the most vile comic book villains that I have ever seen. He does so much messed up stuff in this comic that he honestly may be on par with the Joker when it comes to some of the most evil comic book villains.
Really? Like, how different is he between the games and the comics? He does some pretty diabolical stuff in the games, but it's not like it's that evil to the level that I would compare to the Joker.
Ever. And just for fun, I thought it would be cool to go over some of the most messed up things he ever did in the comic to really show off how bad he is. I'm obviously not going to list everything he's done, just the really bad stuff in chronological order. One thing to get out of the way, even though Dr. Robotnik and Dr. Eggman are technically two different people in this continuity, I will be combining them into one character. Both their histories are said to be more or less the same, and it wouldn't be as long of a list if I only did one of them, now would it? We'll be starting with the original Dr. Robotnik first and his takeover of the planet Mobius. Robotnik's original takeover of Mobius may be the single most important event that happens in Archie Sonic, as his control of the planet looms over the rest of the series. Acting as an advisor for King Max, Sally Acorn's father, Robotnik would use this position of power to bide his time until he could strike with an army of robots, launching a coup against the city of Mobotropolis. With only a handful of people escaping the city, the rest of the citizens would then be turned into machines via a roboticizer, turned into mindless robotic slaves for labor, while Robotnik—
What the Oh my goodness. Starting off strong with this one, aren't we? Although, I believe in the very first Sonic game, you were kind of freeing animals from Dr. Eggman's control because they were getting, like, roboticized, right? I guess that's just a commonality that he's always going to be doing. And already, I've noticed a lot of characters that we have, like, never seen before, so I'm assuming that there's original characters to the Archie comics specifically.
Has no qualms with killing whatsoever. He tends to roboticize his victims whenever possible. Robotnik's takeover of Mobius also meant that he was free to turn the environment into areas of production, leaving wild-scale pollution across the forests and the seas of Mobius. Radiation, toxic chemicals, oil spills, cutting down trees, etc., etc. During his period as dictator, Robotnik would enlist a few mandatory rules for his subjects to follow. No laughing, no singing.
Clip him, post him, obey him. No healthy food, no fun, no friends, already have that one down. And also no complaining about my rules. What a guy. This is just a Saturday night cartoon evil villain levels.
No plants, no music, no books, no exercise, no friends, no pets, no fun, no healthy foods, and no complaining about said rules. Robotnik also takes great issue with people protesting about his pollution and sends robots out to beat them up. Fat shaming. In issue 3, he calls Rotor fat. What a jerk.
So what is happening here? Sonic and Co. are protesting against Robotnik? What? This isn't really how I would imagine Sonic to go about beating Eggman, or Robotnik in this case. Wouldn't we just kind of like I don't know, do it? How different is Archie Sonic to the game Sonic? I guess we're just gonna have to do a video on that at some point.
Soliciting with a minor. During
What
a
the hell?
costume party at
Excuse me? What? You can't just drop this bombshell and move on? I guess you kind of have to.
During a costume party at Knothole, Sally Acorn heads into the forest to search for a stick to go with her witch costume. Robotnik watches Sally on a security camera, taken aback by how evil she looks, apparently not recognizing her because of the costume. Robotnik then kidnaps Sally and then takes her back to Robotropolis, wishing to marry her. Now, it's unknown whether or not Robotnik knew that she was underage, given the disguise, but I'm gonna count it anyway.
What is going on?
Villain, dictator, and Discord mod being set.
Oh no. He is on the level of Joker. Oh goodness.
Nexus. Dr. Robotnik hatches a scheme to destroy the Freedom Fighters via separating them from Sonic, going after the only two female members on the team, Sally Acorn and Bunny Rabbit. He attempts to trick them by opening up a fake shopping mall, because girls love the mall. He also owns dolls of Sally Acorn and Bunny, which have recorded dialogue that spits out sexist remarks about women. He is later defeated by Sally and Bunny via girl power. He would later go on Discord to complain to all his friends that they made Sonic comics woke. Tampering with
What is this absolute insanity? We're only 3 minutes in. What are the Archie comics even on? You know, wasn't expecting this. I didn't know what to expect, but yeah, certainly not this.
People's Mail. In Sonic issue 25, Robotnik gets a hold of Amy Rose's pen pal letters that she had written to Sonic. Tampering with People's Mail is a federal offense, as stated by the Robot Fish. Tampering with food. Robotnik opens up a fake restaurant chain to lure the Freedom Fighters, getting everyone but Sonic to eat fast food that had been laced with the French virus. This would have been fatal if not for Sonic.
The French virus? You know, I love this silly kind of comedy. There is a point where it gets like too much, but I don't know. I enjoy it. I enjoy a suitable amount of it. Similarly to how I've been enjoying the humor in something like Undertale. Like, yeah, it's silly, it's dumb, I get it, and I still kind of love it.
Sonic shrinking in size to go inside of Rotor to combat the virus, where he fights deadly villains such as Parasite and Hotspot. Sonic manages to save his friends when he gets in contact with Rotor's antibody, who summons the other antibodies for the other Freedom Fighters. So if Sonic has a shrinking device, how come he just doesn't use it on himself and jump inside Robotnik's ass? Roboticizing Sonic.
We're gonna Ant-Man this. That's really hilarious, and we're literally like doing a Cells at Work sort of comic with Sonic instead. Actually, that made me think of this cartoon that I used to watch as a kid. It was something Magic School Bus? There was like a teacher, and she would always bring her class out on field trips on a magical school bus, and that school bus would be able to transform and bring them to all these weird and unique places. Like, there was even an episode where they went into space and stuff like that. I don't know if that series was good. I just remember enjoying it as a kid.
After capturing Sonic and bringing him to Robotropolis, Robotnik finally roboticizes the Hedgehog, turning him into Mecha Sonic. He sends Mecha Sonic out to find Knothole and destroy it, along with anyone who gets in his way. Mecha Sonic is such a beast that he tears through heavy hitters like Knuckles and Bunny Rabbit, only going down after Knuckles turns into Mecha Knuckles. After they were both de-roboticized, Sonic would be placed under arrest, as the Freedom Fighters had thought he went off on his own and accidentally got caught by Robotnik, nearly destroying everyone. Attempted murder of Sally Acorn and framing Sonic. During a routine mission in Robotropolis, Sonic and Sally are seen climbing up.
Now I think about it, isn't there like a detective game with Sonic? Was it like a fan-made game? I recall seeing that around on YouTube at some point, but I wasn't even into Sonic at that point, I think? Or maybe I was.
Tower by the rest of the Freedom Fighters. Sonic begins to cut the rope while Sally is still climbing, letting her drop all the way back down to the ground. The Freedom Fighters are naturally horrified, rushing in to save Sally and take her back to Knothole in hopes that they can save her in time, wondering how Sonic could even do such a thing. Ignoring the convoluted answer, this wasn't Sonic. The real Sonic was actually infiltrating Robotnik's base to go find the Doctor himself, eventually heading back to Knothole unaware of what just happened. It's too late though. Sally is dead. and
No!
now Sonic is being sent to prison for murder.
Holy
Sonic
shit.
gets into a plane crash while en route to the prison, is chased by Secret Service men and Tasmanian devils, passes out from exhaustion, all the while Robotnik is back at Knothole, taking over the village for himself. This was Robotnik's endgame, to take Sonic and Sally out of the picture so he could swoop in and take out the last bit of hope for Mobius.
What is going... It is such a weird blend where we have like this silly funniness to it, but then we also have just all these dark themes mixed in. Like even with the cutesier art style to it and the cartooniness of it, it is still like really freaking dark. Imagine if it didn't have that. This would just be like a, I don't know, a dystopian, a dark fantasy? I don't know what category you'd put it in.
Sonic is cleared of the murder charges and heads off with his friends to put a stop to Robotnik once and for all. Robotnik manages to fire his ultimate annihilator at Knothole, wiping it off the face of Mobius in front of a horrified Sonic. With Sonic having nothing left to lose and Robotnik having everything to gain, the two have their final battle, ending with the death of the original Dr. Robotnik. Sonic wakes up and...
Holy shit! So Robotnik just nukes an entire city? Whoa! I guess the Archie comics are just built different, man. Although I suppose if they have all these things that aren't really present within the games, then they have a lot more freedom to do stuff like this.
Apparently Robotnik's cannon didn't wipe out Knothole, it just put it a few hours into the future. That's dumb. It's also revealed that Sally Acorn is still alive. Yay, that's nice. And that was it for the original Dr. Robotnik.
Oh my.
He would have one minor appearance in a joke issue later on, but as of issue 50, he was dead, and Sonic & Co. would never have to worry about Dr. Robotnik again.
I wonder if they made the change there, the sort of fake out, because they didn't want any outrage from the fans of the comics. I talked about this in a previous video. I think it was the Kiniku Man one. But I talked about the like ending to the Transformers lore, essentially. Or was it the cartoon? Where I believe they were trying to introduce a new generation into the big so that they could sell new toys. And so they had the writers kill off all the original cast as well as Optimus Prime to replace him with Hot Rod, which did not go over very well. There were many angry parents. Kids were crying. And all of that kind of had to be walked back. Perhaps they wanted to avoid a situation similar to that. So while there were a lot of dark things that happened, we make sure that people are still happy with us and not going to go up in arms about us removing characters that they love.
And then this guy showed up. Archie's version of Dr. Eggman is actually a variant of Robotnik called Robo-Robotnik, who came from an alternate universe where he was forced to roboticize himself to become more powerful. He would return near the Sonic Adventure adaptation, quickly doing away with his all-black body in favor of the Iwakawa design that we all know. Before arriving in the Prime universe, Robo-Robotnik had utterly annihilated his version of Mobius, including a much older Sonic, Sally, and their children. That's right, this version of Eggman has no qualms about murdering children or entire planets. Let's keep that in mind. Before revealing...
Hey, the classic evil villain. But also, yeah, definitely original characters here, because I've not seen Sally before. It seems that she's kind of paired with Sonic. And all I know from the games is that Amy is still trying. That's all I know about that. I don't know if it even goes anywhere, to be honest with you.
Himself, Robo-Robotnik had launched meteors down on Mobotropolis, and following his reveal, retook the city with his SWAT bots, returning the comic to its status quo of Sonic vs. Robotnik. Going forward, I'm just going to be calling Robo-Robotnik Eggman just to make things easier. Killing his own family, Robotnik's family, having been in space for many years, returned to Mobius, finding that Eggman, known as Ivo Kintobor by his family, was now in charge of a whole city. Eggman allows them to stay in the city, wanting to win their trust. Eggman failed to mention that the city also produces deadly chemicals which release fumes into the air, which was slowly killing all the humans occupying the city. To save them, Eggman used his roboticizing touch to turn them into robots. Unlike when he roboticizes Mobians, though, humans were turned into metal statues, incapable of moving or speaking. Eggman's nephew Snibbly is roboticized, but he is able to move because he wanted it, I guess. The humans are basically dead by this point, with Eggman roboticizing Hope Kintobor's grandma right in front of her. They're especially dead when a freaking nuke hits Robotropolis, blowing it to bits and for sure killing all the roboticized humans that had been left inside, forcing echidnas into labor camps. When Sonic had been away in outer space for
like, even his own family isn't safe. This guy is just on a different level. He is ascended on the villain ladder.
A whole year, Eggman was finally able to swoop in and begin reclaiming large chunks of the planet. Hey, that sounds familiar. One such place was Angel Island, unguarded as Knuckles and the Chaotix had decided to stay on the ground to fight off against the Doctor's forces.
I did receive some suggestions to check out the Chaotix lore video from, I believe, Game Apologist. Don't know anything about them or what their group is, so maybe we'll check that out in the future.
This meant that Eggman was able to join forces with the Dingo army, enslaving the entire Echidna population and forcing them into manual labor. Sonic and company would arrive to liberate the island, in which the Doctor retaliated by sending one of his elite agents to capture all of the Echidnas and rebels, leading to, in my opinion, the worst thing any version of Eggman has ever done: the Egg Grapes. After capturing a handful of the Echidna population via a teleporting device, they would all be placed into Eggman's latest invention, the Egg Grapes. The Egg Grapes are energy collectors, using living organisms to drain them of their power to fuel Eggman's city and machinery. The first phase of this process is mind erasure, followed by infusing the body with toxins, and finally, the energy draining process. Egg Grapes are very much lethal, and seem to take days or weeks to kill someone. Those who do escape while the machine is active tend to come out worse for wear. Charmy B was in an Egg Grape for only a few seconds and received brain damage that gave him the mind of a child. Some known victims of the Egg Grapes are various Echidnas, the children of Uma Arachnis, the Council of Ants, and possibly Charmy B's entire kingdom. This includes Charmy's parents and his sister. The Egg Grapes apparently aren't even that effective when it comes to energy collection. Eggman just uses them because he's a sick bastard and likes to watch people suffer.
Oh, is there not a more efficient way? Can you not reach your vision in a quicker way? Oh, I'm sure I can. But where would the fun be in that? God. Wow. What a legend. It's truly embodying the mad scientist. It's like, yeah, this is the most efficient way, but it's funny. But man, like, real talk, this is so fucked up. It's like, what was it, The Matrix? But I guess in many ways, The Matrix was better because people could still somehow live out their lives. They just weren't aware of what reality was. Here, you're just kind of stuck in a capsule, suffering. And I'm assuming that you're also still sentient while you're in there. You're still conscious. So you're just feeling all of that energy getting drained out of you. I don't know if that's painful or not, but I definitely don't want to be in there. Especially if being in there for a few seconds just gives you permanent brain damage.
Attempted assassination. Eggman, tired of hearing pop music from Mina Mongoose on the radio, sends Knack the Weasel to assassinate her. When this fails, he sends out an army of bombs to try and blow her up along with the rest of the concert. What a jerk. Killing his own daughter.
What? Okay, you know, I can't stop for each and every single one of these. I should just be prepared. Like, the worst of the worst. The worst possible thing you can imagine. This version of Eggman probably has done it before, but also I find it absolutely hilarious that, wow, your songs are so annoying, I'll send a hitman after you.
Mecha M. Robotnik was a hyper-realistic robot that acted as Eggman's enforcer for a brief period and was also something of a daughter to Eggman.
I see.
When on the hunt for the mysterious Anonymous, Mecha would be accused of working with Anonymous and was quickly commanded to self-destruct for betraying her father. Despite feeling somewhat broken up about it, Eggman wasted no time in killing what was basically his own child. The death of Tommy Turtle and killing his own son. It turned out that Anonymous was actually Eggman's other child, Adam, a digital AI that had been working behind the scenes to gather power. Adam had taken control of one of Sonic's friends, Tommy Turtle, via nanites, now having a physical body to complete his plan of gathering all the Chaos Emeralds in the universe into one spot. Sonic arrives to stop Adam, where they both turn super and begin to duke it out. Tommy manages to gain enough control from Adam to take control of his own body again, saying goodbye to Sonic and flying up to one of Eggman's battleships to sacrifice himself, taking Adam out in the process.
Holy.
Eggman wasn't thinking about killing Tommy specifically.
What is the death count in the Archie comics? It's not just like the random NPC citizens either. It's also just like characters that I would assume we would know, friends of Sonic. And while my body is blocking it here, Shadow does not look happy. At all. Look at that. Look at that face.
Specifically, just Adam, the entire situation would have never happened if Eggman simply never created Adam. Destruction of Knothole. Once Eggman had learned the location of Knothole, it was only a matter of time until he decided that enough was enough. With his Egg Fleet and Egg Beater battlesuit, the Doctor launched a full-scale assault on the village. Using his transport
I love that name, Egg Beater battlesuit. Very creative.
Technology to beam nearly every citizen back to his egg grape vineyard. Said business was beating the total snot out of Sonic, wishing to totally humiliate the Blue Blur and leaving him without hope, as all of his friends and allies would be killed simply because he wasn't strong enough. This plan wouldn't really work out in the end, as Sonic and his remaining friends would pick themselves back up to rescue the village, with the only lasting damage being Rotor having his back injured and Charmy being brain damaged via a demonstration of the egg grapes. Ironic that this is one of Archie Eggman's more infamous moments, and the worst he does is injure a few characters and beat up Sonic for a bit, but his intentions were truly monstrous.
That is kind of interesting, yeah, that he's kind of like remembered for this, despite having done way more horrible stuff.
Killing Sally Acorn. After the destruction of Knothole, Eggman's mental health would begin to take a sharp decline, and he would fall into the background for quite some time while other villains took the spotlight for various arcs. Eggman would make his big return in the 220s, launching a brand new Death Egg and heading straight for New Mobotropolis. Sonic and Sally infiltrate the Death Egg, with Eggman sending a new Silver Sonic to keep Sonic occupied. Sally goes off on her own, only to have a large machine gun emerge from one of the walls, killing her. As Sonic finds her lifeless, bullet-riddled corpse at the end of the hall, Eggman launches the next phase of his plan, rewriting the universe via a Chaos Emerald.
Okay, what the fuck? This is a comic meant for children, right? Right? Or no? I don't know anymore. I wonder if any children were traumatized by this.
Sonic's last memory being his girlfriend, dead and bleeding out onto the floor. There was no reason to even do this, as Eggman was going to rewrite the universe anyway. He just wanted Sonic's last memory on this world to be the murder of his girlfriend. Thankfully for Sonic, he was able to reset the universe 10 seconds before Sally's death and save her. But if those guns did this to Silver Sonic, just imagine what Sally must have looked like when Sonic found her. The world robot.
Bro is petty. He is so freaking petty, man. And I love it. I love petty villains. They just have to make you hurt, despite it being completely unnecessary. And even, like, not very beneficial for them. It's not really a question of if they should do it. It's just the fact that they can do it, that they will.
Roboticizer. Shortly after these events, Sonic and Sally find Eggman, where he's ready to explain his Plan B after his Reset the Universe scheme had failed. Use the Death Egg's built-in roboticizer on the entire planet. Now, this would not only turn people into robots, but if you use the roboticizer on something that's already mechanical, it explodes. That includes cities with thousands of people. Eggman's just wanting to send the world back to the Stone Age and pick out whatever comes crawling out of the wreckage. He doesn't even care that his own cybernetic soldiers will be caught in the explosions. This plan thankfully never came to fruition, as Sally manages to sneak below the Death Egg to hook up Nicole to its systems. She can reverse the roboticizer to only affect the room they're in, at a huge cost. Sonic thinks he's beaten Eggman once again, but he finds that Sally has been roboticized, now under Eggman's control. Sonic.
You just can't win, man. You just can't win. But I mean, of course, Eggman wouldn't care about whether or not he loses his roboticized soldiers. Like, he can just make more of them. And that's really the point of why he has all these robots serving him, is because, well, doesn't have to deal with actually creating any sort of relationships with them, or being a charismatic leader and whatnot. He can just use them as his pawns.
Sonic, not wanting to fight Sally, is quickly thrown from the Death Egg, and Eggman soon gets to work on upgrading Mecha Sally, doing away with much of her outer shell and outfitting her with various weapons. The implications of mutilation are pretty dark stuff, and Sally never gets rescued, as the comic would reboot in just a few dozen issues. Crippling Antoine. Shortly after this, Eggman would make an attempt on Elias Acorn's life, Sally's brother and the previous king of the city. With Sonic and company having their attention split between Metal Sonic and Mecha Sally, and a then de-roboticized Bunny Rabbit struggling to keep up, the fight is prolonged. Metal Sonic charges for Elias, with Antoine jumping to Metal Sonic to keep him away as long as possible. This is a fight he already knows he can't win, but Antoine tries anyway to defend the king. What follows is one of the most vile and petty things Eggman has ever done. Self-destructing Metal Sonic to kill Antoine. Sonic is speechless and can only stand there.
It's freaking Metal Sonic! Metal Sonic carried your ass in that death battle! Bro's back was hurting, man. He was trying his best. Man, we gotta learn more lore about Metal Sonic too. I think there was actually like another video covering specifically Metal Sonic lore in the Archie comics. But yeah, as I said earlier, it doesn't care about his subordinates, but like I think this is kind of dumb. Of all the subordinates to not care about, this one is probably the one that you should care about. And once again, I say, like, how many people are we going to lose here? How is Sonic still going? If it was me, I would be so freaking annoyed by this guy. Well, maybe annoyed is putting it lightly. We should probably end Eggman. Just, I mean, look at the amount of suffering that he's caused simply by existing here.
While everyone sobs, Bunny clinging to Antoine. Sonic manages to get him to a doctor in time, but Antoine is stuck in a coma, bandages all across his body. Bunny, distraught over being unable to protect her husband, opts to leave the city, going to join one of Eggman's subgroups to see if she can reclaim her cybernetics, only leaving her goodbye in a note that Sonic finds near Antoine's hospital bed. This is the final straw for Sonic. Sally is roboticized, Antoine is half dead, and Bunny has gone missing. Some of Sonic's oldest friends are all gone, and
finally, literally what I was just saying, I would not be able to stand it anymore. This cannot continue. Eggman's gotta go.
Sonic decides that the Freedom Fighters are history, declaring Eggman as the winner of this decade-long war. Sonic, of course, snaps out of this in a later issue to continue the fight, but this was the closest that Eggman had ever gotten to truly breaking Sonic's spirit. Brainwashing, blackmailing, and legionizing. When roboticizing people was off the table for a while, Eggman had joined forces with the Dark Legion to rebuild his ranks, taking a process known as legionizing. To go one step further, Eggman would often use this method on his enemies, such as the Sigma Alpha 2 Squad, who he had turned into mindless slaves. Anyone who willingly joined was then forced to stay via blackmail, such as threats of their new limbs exploding, their entire body shutting down and being placed into paralysis, or simple threatening of loved ones and citizens. If you were legionized,
well, you know, ruling people with fear always works. It will never backfire on you. History has taught us this.
You wouldn't be leaving Eggman's grip anytime soon.
Locking Snively away for life. Eggman's nephew, Snively, finally had enough of living under his uncle's rule and made one last attempt to take the Empire for himself, enlisting the help of his evil techno-wizard girlfriend, the Iron Queen. This backfired immensely, but Eggman offered a place in his army for the Iron Queen, even allowing her and Snively to stay side by side with each other for the benefit of his empire. But this wasn't the true case. This wasn't the real Snively. The real Snively was locked away in a capsule in some unknown part of the Death Egg, where Eggman could laugh at his nephew one last time for failing to take his army. We never saw Snively again after this, save for a cameo in the Mega Man crossover where he was imprisoned next to Dr. Light. Snively did
Really? I was recommended to check out the Archie comics for Mega Man as well, so might have to do that one too.
Reappear in the reboot timeline, but the fate of pre-boot Snively was one of the darkest in the entire series, destroying the universe and the multiverse. To end off our list, we have the last horrible thing that Eggman ever did in the pre-boot continuity. At the end of the first Sonic and Mega Man crossover, Sonic attempts to use Chaos Control to send him and all his friends back to their own universe, only for Eggman to come in and ruin it all after another defeat at the hand of Sonic, completely altering their own universe. This would lead into the reboot, where much of the comic's history would be done away with in favor of a world closer to that of the video games. This was a result of the infamous Ken Penders lawsuit, where he had demanded royalties for characters and ideas that he had created, and rather than pay him every time they wanted to use those ideas or characters, they just decided to scrap them all together, including characters and ideas not created by Ken Penders. Everything from Sonic's parents to Mina Mongoose, entire groups of freedom fighters, all gone. Never.
So, wait. So there's the real world aspect of this where we have destroyed this whole universe that we created in favor of just following the canon of the games now, because we didn't want to pay out royalties to the person who created these characters. Although I'm sure that there is much more to this story than the surface level that we got here. But regardless, I feel like as a comic reader, as a fan of the series, I'd probably be devastated. And we've explored so many different IPs here on the channel that we've already seen several cases similar to this. For you Warhammer fans out there, literally the end of Warhammer Fantasy all over again. Or hell, like Star Wars with the new movies kind of just getting rid, or Disney, I guess, getting rid of the entire expanded universe. It is such a shame that we've spent so much time making all this, but, you know, and now it's all gone. And from my understanding, the Archie comics also kind of got cancelled in like 2017, I think, somewhere around there. So this isn't really a thing anymore, but for you guys who were there and you experienced this, what do you guys think about it? This is just my perspective as an outside onlooker who has seen stuff like this happen before with other IPs.
Never mentioned again in the reboot. Now, you could say that maybe they do exist in the reboot and we just can't see them, but I don't really buy that. I'm pretty confident that a lot of these guys simply don't exist anymore in the Archie universe. Or any universe. Not only did Eggman mess with him in Sonic's universe, he collapsed the entire Archie multiverse, meaning that hundreds, if not thousands of universes were all wiped out and destroyed, just because Eggman's a sore loser. Just to round things off, I'm also going to list stuff that Archie Eggman did that also happened in the games. Trying to take over the world with a robot army, building a death egg to try and take over the world, kidnapping Sonic's friends, building various Sonic robots to kill Sonic and take over the world, taking over Angel Island and tricking Knuckles, unleashing chaos on Station Square, unleashing Shadow and threatening the planet with the Eclipse.
Yeah, these are all things that I'm familiar with happening after learning about the game lores and stuff. So there is a bit of crossover there and things do happen. There's just more added context and different events too.
Cannon, blowing up half the moon, building an interstellar amusement park and capturing wisps for mind control devices, using the time eater to try and rewrite history, planning a Zombot invasion. I'm counting this one because the Zombot storyline was originally intended for Archie, but the comic got canceled before we could see it. It was mentioned though, in a panel mentioning a new roboticizing process. And that's about the best hits version of the awful stuff Archie Eggman has done. So tell me in the comments, how would you execute Archie Eggman for his crimes? Jokes aside, feel free to comment anything you feel that I had missed that deserved to be on here. Depending on my mood and the reception to this video, I may start planning to make a video for Eclipse the Darkling to prepare for Shadow Generations. Thank you for watching.
Alright, well, that was an insane trip, man. The Archie comics seem kind of crazy, not gonna lie. And if you guys want to see me try to tackle the 9-hour retrospective, or if you have any other recommendations, please do let me know in the comments below. And of course, if for some reason you haven't already, go and support the OG video. But yeah, that's gonna be it from me. Thank you so much for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.